morning. Good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning. Really well, thank you. How are you?
Yes, very well, very well. Getting ready for all the Christmas cheer. We've got a couple of ladies that we're meeting up from the Mafia. Erin and Emma, we're all catching up this morning up on the sunny coast. So looking forward to that. So I'm just looking at your bio and yeah, I'm just copying and pasting into my Zoom description, and then we're going to get started straight into it. No mucking about.
Fabulous. Sounds good.
You're on holidays as we speak?
Not yet.
You had it?
I did have a holiday, yeah. So we went to Stratty for 5 nights.
Oh, nice. When Reg was talking, yeah, she thought that you were away. She didn't realize that you were back. So yeah.
Yeah, no, we're back. So we went away because she invited me to speak on the 3rd, so 2 weeks ago, and I was like,
no, can't
sorry.
do it.
I had a float booked and we were on a barge that afternoon, and we just made it onto the barge as it was.
Why do we do that to ourselves, right? We leave everything to the last minute. It's just crazy. It's crazy stuff. We all do it.
It wasn't one of us. I just physically didn't have the time to do it any other way. End of November and December are just mental in our house.
Yeah, it just went bang, 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 didn't it? I know myself. November, I've got all birthdays, and then it just hit. And then it was December before I knew it, 1st of December. And yeah, we're what, 8 days and we're at Christmas. So it's just crazy. So let's go live. I'm going to press the go live button. And then did Reg send through your little, your little questions? So I think we're live now. Good morning, everyone on Facebook. I am in Facebook jail, but I can still post in my group. So I'm so blessed to be able to have a community where I can share the message and, you know, I guess raise and support other women that are in business and collaborate together so that we can support each other in the community, in the groups that we have created. So I know, Belinda, you have created a group, but first of all, my beautiful guest is Belinda Chapman, and I've met Belinda quite a while ago now, and she helps women through a birth journey, but she's going to explain that a bit more for you, because I'm not really Oh, it's said that we're off live. Find out. Please try again. So let's go again. Looks like Facebook.
You can say fertility journey rather than birth journey.
A fertility journey, rightio. That's fine. Yeah. Bear with me, Belinda. We just got to find.
We're live now, so we'll see.
It says we're live again.
Yeah.
I've been having all sorts of trouble with my internet. I don't know why, but it keeps just jumping off the internet. So whether or not it's the plan that my daughter put me on, I don't know. So I think we're live, and we're still live. So good morning, everyone. Welcome, Belinda. It's so nice to have you here. Let's just go ahead and let me mute this one. Let's just have, introduce yourself. Let us know what you do. Tell me a little bit about you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lucia. I really appreciate this opportunity. So my name is Belinda Chapman. I've got a therapy and coaching practice here in Brisbane, both in person and online. Yep. Probably one way of describing me would be a mind-body coach. So with the modalities I use, it's really tapping into the power of that mind-body connection. Yeah. So I help people who are being stressed either through general life or with their women's health issues, including fertility, complex gynecological issues such as endometriosis, adenomyosis, big words, big chronic issues that some of these women's women deal with, and it can lead to some really stressful situations in their lives.
Yeah. And I guess yeah, my VA is just saying to me, "Are you live?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're live." I guess you touched on the thing that many of us have in common, and that is mindset. You know, with all of these chronic illnesses or diseases that we suffer from, I was diagnosed 15 years ago with a chronic illness, and I could have gone down you know, I did go down that, you know, that rabbit hole of depression and, you know, not dealing with it.
Yeah.
Then there's something happens and you just got to, someone supports you or someone says something and it just, you know, resonates with you. So something just snaps and you go,
Yeah,
"Right,
that's
I
right.
can't stay there."
And
Yeah.
it's always about having a choice, isn't it? You know, you could continue down that path,
Absolutely.
or you could go, actually, no, I'm not going to concentrate my focus on this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to shift it to here. And it's entirely possible. And I love doing that with my clients, helping them to see that alternate way. Or they might know that that's what they want, but they're really struggling to get there. And when we think about that, conscious mind, unconscious mind, and you know, we might consciously know that we want something, we would logically, rationally know that that's what we want. We want to think more positively, we want to eat more healthy, we want to be more relaxed, but there's just some kind of underlying, we tend to use the word sabotage, that the unconscious mind is bringing up. But what I love to do is work with the unconscious mind, you know, help them fall back in love with it and know that it's really just there to help them and work with it.
I love that, Belinda, working with the unconscious mind, because there's so many things that we don't realize that we are actually doing in our day to day. You know, like there's so many things that from childhood or from, you know, growing up as a teenager, something's occurred, someone said something about your body, you know, and you're like, because as a former stylist, you know, your body image, you know, you only need to say, "Oh, you've got big legs" or something like that, and it's just like snap, and it just stays. It stays and stays, and unless you do something and have people like yourself that help and support women to let go. Even though, would you say that letting go is first step, but would you say that it's kind of always there, but just having some tools to cope and deal with it and work with it when it comes up? How do you? I'd love
That's
to.
a really good point, because you've been practicing that mindset, you've been practicing that belief for a very long time. When you talk about the neurobiology of the brain, just like go a little bit geeky for a second here, you know, we can talk about it, that belief having like a 6-lane highway in your brain. It's a very well-worn track. And so what I do is help them to start a new way of thinking. And you think of it like it starts as a goat track. And you've got to build that up. You've got to keep practicing it. And it actually takes the protein from that 6-lane highway and gives those proteins to that new pathway. But you've got to keep practicing it. And it is a practice. So that's why, you know, we talk about habits take a long time to form. Well, yeah, but it's, you know, just like anything's a practice. You've been practicing that old way of thinking, you've got to practice a new way of thinking. I heard it a beautiful analogy the other day that you might build your strength up so that you're strong enough to lift, say, 50 kilograms. And you might go, yes, I can lift 50 kilograms, and you stop. You think you're going to be able to lift that same 50 kilograms in, you know, another 2 months' time? No, of course you're not. You've got to keep practicing it and keep doing it. So it's the exact same thing with the mindset. If you build yourself up to be able to have that more beneficial mindset, you've then got to practice it. And it becomes a lot more natural. It becomes the new 6-lane highway.
Yeah, beautiful. I love the 6-lane highway. That's sometimes what's going on up here in my head. It's like starting anything new. You know, the practice, the more practice, the better you become, the more confident you become, and then then you're on your highway. You know,
that's right. And it becomes easier, and it's not that hard to get started. You know, we talk about change as being hard. It's only hard when you believe it's hard.
It's what you tell your brain. Yeah. I agree. It's what you tell your brain. You can tell your brain so many stories if you
Oh,
let it.
yes.
Led you to this niche? Like, what led you to do what your work that you do? What's the story behind there? Because most
Yeah.
have a story.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. There's builders outside, so
Right.
yeah, most of us have a story. So what is yours? I saw you went, I like gold. Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
I've always loved working with people development. I've moved even in a science role years ago into team leadership very early on because of the people. And then I actually struggled with my own fertility journey, with my own women's health issues all through my 30s. Both my kids took years and multiple rounds of IVF to come about. So when I was on the other side of that, the idea came to me, sort of dropped in during meditation, for me to work with women on their fertility journey. And it's evolved from there. So I built on my coaching skills with hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming, and now and recently with Reiki. So there's multiple levels that I'm working at, but it was really that personal drive. And as you said, everyone's got their personal motivation. So for me, it was like, oh, I know how hard it was going through that. So I want to give that emotional, mental well-being support to women who go through that. And once I'd opened the doors, I started to see more and more people dealing with their general stress and anxiety. And so I love seeing people, like, literally within 3 or 4 sessions, just having these massive life-changing moments of completely changing their mindset and their beliefs. So, and I've been a bit of a stress head over the last while myself. So I know what it's like to have the mind whirring and to then, help them calm that down. So I can bring that personal experience and empathy to both avenues of the general stress and anxiety and the women's health and infertility.
That's beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, the anxiety thing, I'm one of these puddle ducks that is puddling underneath, and outwardly I'm serene, and and nothing's a worry for me, but inside it's all like, yeah. So and I've had to learn to bring it out, because for me a lot of mine was internalizing. So many gut problems, women's health. So yeah, it's interesting how when we don't address what's going on for us, that it can physically become something more than it should.
Yeah, definitely. I sort of talk about the scales at which you can deal with things. So, we all sort of reflect on, okay, what level of distress am I sort of dealing with here? It might not be a conscious thing throughout the day, but if you kind of get to a point and you're like, oh, wow, I'm not coping with this anymore, it's probably around that 5, 6 plus out of 10 distress level, then it is time to get that external support. So I teach people things that they can practice on themselves, whether it is like a 1 to 3 to 4 kind of level of distress, and they can practice at that level before the storm hits. And then they've got the tools, but then there's top ups, there's clearing. I'm constantly going to the different practitioners and getting support.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing, even though we're coaching and mentoring other people, we still need that spiritual, emotional support ourselves,
Definitely.
and reaching out to others. So definitely look out or look after yourself in that respect. Don't feel that you're this lighthouse that is untouchable, like when you start to do that, you've got to do something about it. Really take control. And I guess it's the whole realization of what is happening. I know for me it was when I was younger, a lot younger, mid 30s to 40s. I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof, but health wasn't supporting me. Things were starting to go array. So to help people, I think your gift is to help people before they get to that physical unhealthiness, that unwellness, getting into where they're on. So what is something that people assume about you that is incorrect? I love this question because stuff comes up that I'm like, wow, I didn't know that about you, or I thought this about you. I can tell that you're a little bit of a, you know, you like things, yeah, just so, because we work together. But yeah, just, you know, what is something that people assume about you that may not be so?
Well, it's quite ironic what you say there, that it's that I have it all together, that I am this serene, calm person, and you were talking about the duck with the legs madly padding underneath. Woo, if you could see the state of my house right now, because I think we were just talking about before we went live what November and December entails in my house. So between the 20th of November and the 20th of December, there are 7 birthdays in my family.
Me too.
And so it's just manic. And I've like thrown a, you know, remote camping thing in there, a photo shoot in there, my own business events, kids' birthday parties. I'm just like scraping from the next one to the next one. And
yeah, and just so serene, Belinda. Got it all together. Meanwhile,
along the surface.
I love
but
it.
It's all those tools and techniques that I draw on. So, you know, I'm very, very strict with my boundaries. So when my 5-year-old comes in at 5 a.m., he's got a clock and I know it's blue still at 5 a.m. So I'm like, no, you go away and you come back when that clock is yellow, because that is my time to do my Reiki, to do my meditation, to center myself before I get up and face all of that.
You've got to set boundaries, right? Boundaries
yes.
are important. And boundaries coming into this time of the year is very, very important with relationships, etc. Yeah, and I guess that's another thing that setting those and putting them in place is very, very beneficial for your own, I guess, internal clock, you know, like keeping you balanced, keeping you able to cope with all of those birthdays. Like, yeah, that's just crazy. And I know what you mean. I've got my birthday's 4 days before Christmas, so I go, yeah.
Well, happy birthday for next week.
Yeah, thank you. I don't need to be reminded of that one. It's yeah, thank you. So and when it comes to business or in your personal life, what is something that, you know, what's a job that you don't like to do? What's something that you don't like to do?
I hate cleaning.
Yeah, I do too.
Really, really hate it. So I'll do the absolute minimum.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, and even there was a few days there where I've got, you know, my hypnotherapy scripts that I use, and they were just starting to pile up outside of the filing. So it's those things.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a stickler for making my bed every day. Like that's my husband just goes, why are you so picky? And I just said, I cannot look in my bedroom and see an unmade bed. I just do not like it. And my desk, I've got a pile here at the moment, and it's only that high.
It's pretty good.
But it's getting a bit too high for me. Like, it's getting a bit shabby. Yeah. So that's my next task before I sort of close up and shut up for Christmas. So yeah, cleaning is probably high on filing, cleaning. We need a cleaner. I did have a cleaner, and she resigned, and I've been lost without her, actually, because she did so much for me. And it's not expensive. Everyone thinks cleaners are, like, you know, really expensive, but they're not expensive, and they just save so much. So I would suggest a cleaner, Belinda. Toilets and bathroom and the floors. That's all mine did. But I knew every Friday that was it. The weekend was clean, and So, and what are you currently reading? What's a book that you're currently reading?
Got a few on the go. I picked this one up at an op shop the other day. Ariana Huffington, Thrive.
Yeah. She's on LinkedIn. She's very good. Very
good. So she was writing this in 2013, 2014.
Wow.
it is still so current.
Yeah.
But she's talking about, you know, well-being. So she talks about the measures of success.
Yes.
And this third measure being wellness and wisdom. But it's basically, it goes beyond the usual measures of power and wealth.
Yep.
To looking after yourself and how well you're doing that. You know, her sort of breakthrough moment was when she passed out in her office from exhaustion and broke her cheekbone.
Wow.
On the way down.
Wow.
So pretty clear wake up call to go, you're not coping. You know, we talk about coping, getting to that 5 or 6 out of 10.
That's probably,
falling from exhaustion and breaking your cheekbone, that's a 10 out of 10 distress level. You're not coping at that point. So really, really, like, I'm only, I don't know, maybe a 6th and 8th of the way in, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm scribbling all over it, taking quotes out of it, and it's really powerful. The other one is this
2013. That's a long while ago when you think about it. Like, that's
and all the themes around, you know, changing your circumstances to be able to look after yourself. I think what Corona has done for us is it's given us that wake up call. And that opportunity to go, you know what? Nothing's normal anymore.
No, it's never going to go back either, right?
No. And if you're in an organization that thinks it can go back to normal, then that's oh, okay, no, this isn't the right organization for me anymore. It was, and I know so many women who are doing that big leap. They're either completely changing or they're going out on their own, because that's how they know that they can. I mean, I did that myself over the last couple of years. I've been doing that. And like the first year or two is pretty tough while you're learning how to be an entrepreneur. But I tell you what, it's so worth it. In comparison.
I think owning or taking back that authority as the leader with your skill, with your knowledge, with your expertise. I teach this in my program. It's so important. Women have got so much knowledge. They're the nurturers, they're the healers, they're the leaders, they're the teachers. And they're taking that back because of Corona. Corona has actually really, really highlighted the fact that as women, we need to really step up and be those people. So teaching women that is part of what my program is all about. But what's the next? Because Ariana, she has a page on LinkedIn. And she does lots of posts in there, about forward thinking and that. So she was probably one of those leaders way back then that's, put well-being into our radar. So good on her.
Well, her mum got her and her sister to start doing meditation at the age of 9.
Wow.
So like her mum sounds pretty amazing as well, to be honest.
Hippie mum, hippie chick. In the day we were classed as hippie chicks because that wasn't normal, but look at it now, it's crazy.
Now, the other one I really, really, really wanted to share was the period repair manual. Any woman still in their menstrual stages would benefit from getting their hands on this one and learning a little bit more about their menstrual cycle, especially if it's going a little bit haywire, because she talks about the menstrual cycle in a really easy to digest way. And it's, you talk about taking your power back. That's in the workplace. This is in your own body. A menstrual cycle is our report card of our health.
Exactly.
And it's not just the report card of the immediate menstrual month. It's the report card from the last 100 days. Because that's how long it takes for a follicle to start maturing in your ovary. So everything that happens in that 100 days that follicle is maturing has an impact on the menstrual cycle for when that ovulation occurs. So it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I am very interested in women's health, but
Interesting. I still find fertility very, very interesting. I'm past menopause, and I was one of the, I guess, the blessed women that periods were never a drama for me. Falling pregnant was never a drama for me. And I was blessed to have 3 children, and a 12-year gap in between one to the other. And I went through a period of probably about 6 to 8 months where I couldn't fall pregnant, and it was starting to really, I knew that I was going into my busy mind. So I have a little bit of empathy there for that, because I really wanted this other child. We've got a disabled child in the middle, and ideally wanted this next child, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So kind of get that a little bit, not as extreme as some people. And now with menopause, just the effects that has emotionally, and it really does have a bearing on women, and how they align themselves with moon cycles, all that thing. So yeah, really interesting. The women's bodies are very, very interesting, powerful beings. So yeah, so I love that. Any other books?
Since you asked, this one I've just read.
Yeah.
Sarah Mackay, she did an episode on
Write that one down, because I love, and it's a female, right, that wrote it?
Yes. So Dr. Sarah Mackay.
Sarah Mackay.
She's a neuroscientist / science journalist.
Yep.
She did an episode on Catalyst a few years ago that you'd be able to look up. So ABC Catalyst on the aging brain. Yep. Really, really fascinating. Okay, cool. So she's in this book, she goes through all the phases. This is maybe a little bit more sciencey, but still very very readable, very relatable.
Bit of a nerd.
Sorry?
I'm a bit of a nerd. I like stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah.
But she talks about menopause, and she's actually going to the whole driver for writing this was because people talking about foggy brain during menopause. And it's really interesting because a lot of the science doesn't always back up PMS. It doesn't back up, hormones being to blame for a lot of these things. But what I found so fascinating about it is that it's a lot of the time the support we build up around us, and the culture, our feelings of equality or not, that have a bearing on how we're handling what we're going through. So in France, when they did the studies, only about 5% of women complain about PMS. In those countries where women aren't treated as equals, it's 95% of women complain of having PMS. So it goes to show, we're talking about mindset right at the beginning of this. I'm not at all saying that PMS is in the head. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it means you have choice. It means you have power over how you respond by how you build up the society around you and respond to that culture, is what's in your hands. So if you don't feel valued, you've got to start by valuing yourself, and then give that out to the world that, hey, I'm a person who deserves to be valued here.
Interesting. The society and the culture has a strong bearing on it. Yeah, it's very interesting, because I have an Italian background, and very male dominated, and then I have a Slovenian background as well. And when I go to the Slovenian the heritage, it's very ancient culture. Like they respect their elders, deeply. But in one way they do, and then in another way, when they're going through menopause or anything like that, they shun them almost. So it's very interesting to see the two aspects there in culture. So yeah, I grew up with when my kids were little, we had like a mother's group. It was all of us having babies together. So we very much had this supportive network around us. I didn't have parents. My parents had left. So it was a community that we had actually built together. And yeah, there was some real strong personalities, but we all respected enough that, you know, we had a voice. Yeah. So
beautiful.
I think what you're saying is that that community, that's social, and then your voice, the three makes such a powerful combination for women and men to have a place that they can speak and they can ask, you know, if they've got questions. So because men have, you know, I'm sure men have, you know, similar you know, emotional, mental health, you know, all those cultural beliefs around men. You know, they've got to be strong, they've got to be this, you know. So, you know, I think it's very important that we bring and foster that, because we've kind of severed that a little bit with the busyness of our world.
Yeah, I actually love working with men. In my family practice here, I really do. I just want to really quickly go back to your point earlier about menopause. What's fascinating is because humans are getting older and we're one of the only species that lives past our menstrual cycle ending, there's not a lot known about how that impacts the aging brain. Like, you've really got to see it, you've got to die for them to be able to look at the brain. But the only other mammal that lives on beyond menopause are these killer whales, these orcas off the coast of California. And the grandmas that are left, the post-menopausal whales, they are the matriarchs. They are like, they rule the roost, and the tribes that have them do the best. And so I was like, yeah, own it. Like these
killer whales.
Well, maybe don't call yourself a killer whale, but you can at least be that matriarch that's like, you know, if you stick with me, I've been there, I've done that. I know what I'm talking about.
Belinda, the ancient cultures, the Indians, the women, the wise women were the people, you know, even in Saxon times, it was the wise women that everyone would go to for healing and, you know, and their wisdom and their knowledge. So it's kind of just doing a flip. You know, we're in a modern day, but we're actually just almost doing a flip, because it's so easy to shrug us off as not knowing what we're talking about. But in actual fact, we've got a lot of wisdom on that journey, that path that we you know, so you know, there's been, I can just think of my life and I go, oh my gosh, you know, put 10 women my age together and just see what they've experienced. It'll be just like blow your mind. Absolutely,
I can imagine.
Blow your mind. So I think what a wisdom, the wisdom that we can share and I guess hopefully support people to not go down the same road, but ultimately I think you will make the same mistakes, but it's being there to support, you know, and
give that empathy and compassion.
Not say I told you so, you know. It's more just being there and saying, right, so what can we do for you and to help you. So I'm currently reading, and this is another one about the brain, but it's The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins.
Cool.
Fantastic book.
Yeah.
I did the what was it? The 5-second rule. She wrote the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. And that was her getting out of substance abuse, and her husband had lost his home, etc. So she was kind of supporting everyone, but she really didn't want to support everyone. She just wanted to put her head over the covers and just forget about what was going on. So that was the 5-second rule. And this one is the High Five Habit. And this is more about self-care, self-alignment. Really, really good book about, you know, just the conversation we have to ourselves each day. Really good. Recommend it to everyone.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, so I've got one here and I've one in my bedroom because I just like to pick them up where I left off. So
brilliant.
So with your business, just tell us a little bit about how people can maybe contact you and you know, whether or not you have any 2022 offers that people might be interested in, if they're, you know, experiencing any of the stuff that you've been talking about today. Yeah, what can you just let us know a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So at the moment I work one-on-one with clients, either here in person in Brisbane or online. Yep. So I have packages for that. So 4, 6 or 8 session packages. But by the end of the year, I'll be developing programs where more people can come on board, more people can be accessing my support. Yeah. So to build up towards that, I'm starting to do half-day workshops throughout the year. So at the moment, I have my monthly meetups where you can come along and hear a little bit about, you know, how to best work with your stress and anxiety and mindset. So I'll be taking those to half-day workshops, and they'll really be taking people through real exercises that I get my clients to do. So this is getting in touch with, you know, what do you value? And, you know, how do you view yourself from that victim responsibility mode kind of perspective, like really getting them set up that they're ready to go. That would be powerful in itself, but that will lead into some really powerful programs for people to make some massive shifts and to really bring about that confidence within themselves and learn to be calm in any situation and respond they want in the way they want to respond. So I'll be having 8 of those throughout the year. We've done our full program up. It's really exciting. We've got those all lined up.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in the background there.
Yeah,
nice. And I've got a bit of a referral offer on at the moment that if anyone refers on a friend or family member and that person comes for their first session, they're entitled to 20% off their next session. Oh, cool. The person who referred gets 20% off their next session. So
yeah,
book in a clarity call. I'd love to have a chat to you and help you out.
We'll put that in the comments, everyone. So Belinda will put that in the comments for you. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Belinda?
So I would love to be seen as an expert in this women's health area, really being able to support women with these complex women's health issues to lead better quality lives whilst dealing with those chronic issues. I've been able to do it myself. I was diagnosed with endometriosis in 2004, with adenomyosis in 2015. I don't suffer any of those symptoms anymore, and they can be really debilitating. Yes. But I've been able to take hold of them and manage that myself. So I'd love to see more and more women experiencing that. So yeah, that's where I see myself in 5 years. And eventually I'm going to do a TED Talk, Lucia.
Okay. Well, yeah, awesome. Yeah, that is bringing that topic to a TED Talk is, yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's a really big goal, but yeah, I can see you doing it.
Thank you.
Doing it. Yeah, I absolutely.
Spreading the word.
Yeah. So we've come to an end. I think we've gone over a little bit. Yes.
No, I do like to talk, sorry.
Yeah, I like to too. So it's quite okay. I could keep actually. Yeah. So, you know, you kind of get on these things and you think, what are we going to talk about? And then, you know, and we're still here. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
You know, you've got so much knowledge to share with others, and a real gift of helping women particularly, but men are also. Our group is for men and women. And we would love to wish you a very Merry Christmas with your beautiful family. And I look forward to seeing bigger and better things in the new year with.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you and everyone in the group. Hope you have a fabulous festive season.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Belinda. And everyone that's watching, we will be back on in January. I return to work on the 10th of January. So the Friday after that, whatever that is, we will be back to a spotlight speaker. If not, I will be on for that day talking a little bit about what I do. So have a great break. Take care. Stay safe. Look after each other, and remember, put some boundaries in place there for you over the Christmas break. So,
Wise
bye
words.
everyone. See you then.
Bye.
Thanks, Belinda. That's all good. Stop the recording.